SteloMation, and welcome to Ride Riffs. I know, it's been over a year since episode 8. Things just got really busy, but now we can say that we're back. Joining me for this special comeback is 51 Napa and CopperKiddo.
Well, howdy, folks. I'm 51 Napa, and I am so glad to finally be back.
Right you are, partner.
So, let's kick off this series with a ride that's worth reviewing, fellas. Because the last one I did was a pizza ship. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a roller coaster ride found in Frontierland, right next to the Rancho del Zocalo, formerly known as Casa del Frito, which created the Dorito chip. It may look old, but similar to Pinocchio's Daring Journey, the attraction was opened in '79.
It could only happen at Disneyland.
It was built on top of the previous attraction, Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland. However, Disneyland wasn't going to wipe it out of existence. Thunder Mountain Railroad has incorporated elements of the previous attraction, but we'll talk about those later.
There are also different renditions of the ride in each park. The ones in Disneyland Paris and Hong Kong Disneyland are drastically different, but like what CopperKiddo said, we'll talk about that after we review this ride.
Shall we say the magic
Indeed.
All together now?
Let's
find out.
As per usual, the ride begins in the queue. Guests can wander around the mine, including looking at old equipment and looking at the old mine shaft. But seriously, is there any ride that doesn't start in the queue?
Though we have to say that the line for this attraction moves fairly quickly, so we have this to say to you, wait time indicator.
You lying whore! Anyway, we've reached the load area and the engines arrive, all bearing various names. Names include, I am fearless, you be bold, you be daring, you are courageous, and I am ready.
Aw man, why isn't I'll be back in engine?
He's buried at the Haunted Mansion, remember?
Anyway, once everyone is seated, the train's brakes are released and we enter the first tunnel, which I call the Tunnel of Ear Rape for good reason.
As we're hauled up the first lift hill and look to our left, we notice a boatload of stalactites and stalagmites surrounding pools of cooler changing water. This is actually one of the many homages to Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland. Then we get a brief shower from a waterfall above before we begin our journey throughout the mines.
We fly underneath a family of possums before diving into a second tunnel while coyotes howl somewhere nearby. We hit a dip, round a corner, and get pulled up another lift hill. On the left side, we can see various animals from turtles to snakes. After passing the animals, we see a goat and sign up ahead that says,
Oh shit.
We're doomed. That's a lot of red sticks.
So much dynamite!
We pass the goat and dynamite and eventually go into the crazy helix. By the way, I dare you to take the goat challenge. Eventually we reach the third lift hill, but we run head on into trouble. Someone knocked over a lantern, which has lit some fuses to a giant pack of dynamite. At the far end of the gold mine. Wait, did Mr. Toad come barreling through here? You slimy bastard of a crumpet! Regardless, the dynamite along the way begins jarring boulders loose, as we're subjected to the blast noises.
We then see the lit fuses light the box of dynamite, which blows up and sends a cloud of smoke at the guests. If you sit either in the second or third car, that smoke will be right in your face.
We then come out of the mountain, go down a hill, and pass underneath a bridge.
Don't touch.
After riding a bend, we fall down an incline and pass over a washed-out bridge with a dinosaur skeleton to our left.
Don't touch.
Then we pass by the scaled-down town of Rainbow Ridge.
Do I have to follow you all day?
We then return to the loading station.
Well now, How does this ride compare to the previous 8 we've reviewed? It's definitely earned its title as an e-ticket ride, and it doesn't disappoint those who plan to venture to the park that Uncle Walt built.
Unlike Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion, there's somewhat of a story behind the attraction. The mine was built on top of Indian burial grounds, and that's a big no-no. The destruction of the mines also vary in each of the parks. In California and Paris, they were both destroyed by an earthquake. In Florida's, it was wiped out with a flash flood, and a tsunami obliterated Tokyo's Thunder Mountain. Sometime later, all these possessed trains were seen running around the tracks minus their engine crews, still trying to perform their daily tasks.
Speaking of tracks, Thunder Mountain Railroad shares the same rail as Space Mountain, Matterhorn bobsleds, and California Screamin'. Instead of a flat rail layout like Knott's Berry Farm's Ghost Rider, Thunder Mountain uses steel tubes to allow tighter turns and less trees for railroad ties. That was a lot of trees being used in the past. A lot.
There are really only 2 different versions to Thunder Mountain. Disneyland Paris's version plays into Phantom Manor's backstory of how Henry Ravenswood built Frontierland. It's also older looking and dirtier than other Thunder Mountain attractions. By attractions, I mean the other variants. Speaking of variants, Hong Kong Disneyland's version is renamed Grizzly River Runaway Mine Cars. There's no engine, and it's somewhat akin to the new Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in Walt Disney World.
Remember Mine Train through Nature's Wonderland? It's still there. More or less. The scaled down Rainbow Ridge, the color changing water pools, and a mine named Little Thunder are tributes to Thunder Mountain's predecessor. Heck, some of the cars and one locomotive can be seen near Thunder Mountain if you go on the ferry boat. Different props and scenes from Nature's Wonderland have been incorporated into the new attraction.
Those rock formations covering the third lift actually resemble the hoodoos seen in Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah. Also, the interior of the third lift hill showed a potential cave collapse from unseen dynamite blasts. As we saw a couple minutes ago, that's not the way it works now. One other thing, there aren't any speakers per se around the track, giving off the fast-paced puffing and whistles. The puffing and wheel click-clacking come from special wheels underneath the main train. The whistle does come from hidden speakers throughout the ride.
What a wild ride this was. This is 51 Napa saying adios. I'm gonna go back and check on some of those freight cars and engines.
This is CopperKiddo, and I'm off to go mine for going in our hills. Hi-ho, it's on to work I go.
This is SteloMation, signing off. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna bust up shit up.
Hey, wait, hey, Stilo, wait, hey,
Stilo,
don't let that
don't!
fuse, wait,
That was the mine,
Stilo,
stupid
wait!
bitch!
Fire in the hole!
I almost had the mother load. Dumbass.
Stilo, you idiot.
Coal dust.
Why? What did I do wrong?